Hey guys, Epsy here. There have been quite a few games that have been announced, revealed, and quite frankly, catching a lot of people's attention. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the top 5 games that are on my radar. At number 5, we have Watch Dogs 2. Now, I know a lot of people weren't too fond of seeing what Watch Dogs 1 had to offer, especially after that huge cinematic trailer that we've gotten for part 1 and didn't even end up in the game. But part 2 seems to catch my attention because of the simple fact that we finally get customization, there's been more improvements towards how driving feels, and hopefully, and this is a big hopefully, we get more hacking and more things that we can do. One of the things that I wasn't fond of in part 1 was the fact that there was no real way to play purely through hacking, or there was no real way to play mostly through stealth. I was really annoyed with that. I even tried playing the game over with only using hacking to complete certain objectives, or going through the whole game without killing anybody with a gun or anything like that, but it just didn't flow right. I'm really hoping that part 2 pulls all this together, and not only that, allows the game to flow better in general. Another thing that I wasn't too fond of with part 1 was the fact that the online just flat out sucked. The missions and etc. were nice, but they felt a little repetitive, and the fact that they locked most of the loadouts that you had to specific weapons really killed whatever the game could have potentially had with its online. One thing I really wish they did away with in part 2 that they didn't was the whole thing of this set protagonist. I would have really liked it if you could have just played as a hacker, in a sense where a hacker is anonymous, and you can just be either male or female or whatever you want to be or whoever you want to be, set in a certain storyline, like how most games tend to do it in that fashion. But to see that they kind of stuck with this really does stink. And personally, Aiden Pierce grew on me. Like, a lot of people may not have liked him, but I did like him as a character. Yes, he was a little mopey, but I guess it was just that diamond in the rough factor about him that I really enjoyed. But this is mostly what I'm hoping for when it comes to Watch Dogs 2. Let's just see how it all ends up, because it's coming out in a couple months. Let's just see if they really pull through and they don't just show a bunch of stuff in the cinematic which doesn't end up in the game. At number 4, we have a game that many of you might not have heard of, but it's actually out in early access in Steam right now, called Orion. If you've seen my Where Am I Going video, you probably noticed that I was playing an odd game in the back. That is Orion. The best way I could describe this game would be Warframe meets Destiny, where you acquire loot, you go and you fight and do all these missions. But what sets this apart compared to those two games is it's not as complicated as Warframe, but it's not as multiplayer driven as Destiny. Now, yes, this game is early access, but the reason why I'm putting this on this list here is because from what I've seen, and just from seeing it alone, this game seems to have a lot of potential. Even after playing about maybe 2 or 3 hours of it, it did feel really good, and it was really rough around the edges because, once again, this is early access. But with it only being $1 at the time of the making of this video, and the fact that they say that they're going to add a lot more things like open world and PvP and being able to fight giant-sized robots and whatnot, this seems like it could be a game that could pick up really well. Now, this doesn't go without it having any flaws or anything of the sort. The few problems that I do see with this game is, once again, I can't stress this enough, it's early access, so it's really rough when you look at it, meaning the UI just looks flat. They don't really teach you how to play the game, so you kind of need to figure it out on your own or ask people that are in-game. It takes a while to load, and a couple other things that I'm worried about as well is that since it's in early access, it may be doomed to just not get any more development because the team might get lazy or might not want to even push it anymore. This same company has also made Orion Prelude and a couple other games, but those are just This game is the one that really caught my attention and I think is worthy of being on this list. At number 3, we have Cardfight Online. Now, I have a bit of a confession to make, and some of you may have noticed in my Finally video. I am an avid card game player. I play a lot of games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Weiss Schwarz, Cardfight Vanguard, Kingdom Hearts, Shaman King, Dot Hack, the list literally goes on and on. And with Cardfight Online, what I'm amped about is, think of it like YGO Pro for most of you who might be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, but And this may be a little, I guess you could say, my own opinion as to what sets this apart from that. Yes, it's fully automated, so it's not like Dueling Network. But with this, you don't have all the cards at the beginning. One of the big things that I've always loved about card games, and this is a very weird aspect, is the actual part of collecting and buying packs and trading and all that. I've always loved that the most because it's like, it teaches you resource management, and it really lets you dive your fullest into a game. But with things like YGO Pro and Dev Pro and even Salvation Server, what sucks about them is since you have all the cards right off at the beginning, it's hard to kind of basically experiment because most people just net deck, or you'll only fight people that are only playing the top decks. And in order to combat those, you have to play the top decks yourself. And with Cardfight Online, it's really focused on the way card games, in my opinion, should be. And another cool feature about this is if you actually buy card packs or like booster packs in real life, you'll get promotional codes that you can take into game to get free packs there. So it's kind of like a double whammy. Cardfight Online, I think, definitely deserves to be on this list because out of all the card games that I've played so far, I haven't seen a company as passionate as Bushiroad who would get into their card games and really try to do things differently or try to keep things balanced like they're doing with this. My only concern with this game is its release date. They've kind of promised this for about, I think, 2 years now, and they still haven't really given us any word on when it's actually going to come out. A beta did happen a couple months ago, but I missed it. So the clips that you're seeing right now are from another person's YouTube who was actually streaming it while they're playing. Links will be in the description of that person's channel. At number 2, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. This game, upon seeing it, I think it was at E3, caught my attention so much. It is so unique with the fact that they have mechanical dinosaurs and you're kind of in this prehistoric state and you have to fight them, and it's like, I can't really describe how good this game looks. Even though I'm showing some clips here, definitely look this game up, and I promise you, if you're into this kind of like open world third person action kind of game, this will not disappoint so far. Now, the only concerns that I am having with this game at the moment is the fact that we're just seeing gameplay of it. Some people have played a little bit of it, but it feels like the way it looks and the way it runs will not end up being the final product that we're going to get. And that's what bothers me the most about this. Another thing that kind of bothers me a lot about this also is that the storyline may drop off like really, really bad. Like, it seems really mysterious, and then you get into it and it's just something really, really basic. But as you may have known from a lot of my other reviews, I tend to not focus on story too much because at the end of the day, everyone's opinion on whether a story is good or bad is literally, as it is, their own opinion. So at number 2, definitely Horizon Zero Dawn is something that I'm willing to look into, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it actually lives up to what it's supposed to be. At number 1, I have Gunvolt 2. I know it's not one of those crazy high def, super 3D graphic games, and it's only for a portable. But after playing Gunvolt 1, I absolutely fell in love with this franchise. And I want to see this franchise move as far up as possible up the list of top tier games. Now, one of the problems that I have with this isn't with the game itself. This is actually just the kind of viewpoint or perspective that a lot of people have of this game. Gunvolt, people keep saying that it's like the Mega Man X successor, but in reality, if anybody's played this, they'll see themselves that this is nothing like Mega Man X. And while it does look like Mega Man Zero, it doesn't play like Mega Man Zero at all either, because it has this weird tagging and electrocuting mechanic. That also I'm not too fond of because it just makes the game feel a little kind of like auto-aimish, and it kind of kills kind of the whole way of playing it. But after playing and fighting somebody like Copen, I'm sorry if this is a spoiler alert for you, or a spoiler. After fighting somebody like Copen in part 1 and seeing that you can actually play with him in part 2, that has left me so stoked. I just literally can't wait for this game. A few other things that I definitely loved about Gunvolt 1 was I don't know if this is on the DS version, I haven't been able to toggle it on, but on the Steam version of it, you can actually get these like hidden dialogues that pop up while you're playing, Like, I remembered I was playing Stratus' stage, I believe his name is, the guy with the flies, and Monica would pop in and start talking about how, like, there's a lot of these, like, perverted cartoons, the best way I could say it without YouTube jumping down my throat. This is not advertiser friendly. But yeah, like, she was talking about how there's, like, you know, tentacles are always seen in a very, very negative way, and they freak her out, and the characters really get into it. Yes, sometimes the dialogues would get in the way, like if you're in the middle of a boss battle, but I just thought this was really cool because it's like a lot of games don't do this kind of thing, and it shows that the developers themselves wanted to have fun with this game. This is why at number 1, I'm holding Gunvolt 2 to be literally at the top of this list. Out of all the ones that I've seen and played so far, this game just did not disappoint me. And any little complaint that I did have about it was quickly put away because of the way the mechanics would work or the way something was kind of set up. I just hope that they don't make this focused heavily on the whole tag and electrocution thing, which is still in the game, but I hope they at least make Copen not have to rely on such a mechanic like that. So far, he has the dashing and the shape-shifting thing. If you really want to see more of this, definitely look this up. Like I said, if you're a platformer fanatic or if you're into stuff like Mega Man, not exactly like Mega Man, but similar to it, Gunvolt is definitely a game that you should look into. Well, those are the 5 games that have caught my attention and I'm eagerly waiting to see. There are plenty more games that I'm eager to see, but these 5 have really pushed themselves above and beyond the rest. So if anything, tell me what you feel about this list. Tell me if you felt like they were a little out of order. If you liked what my list was, or if you liked a lot of the games that were on this list, please leave a thumbs up. If you didn't and you want to see more games or you wanted to see a certain game on the list, please leave a thumbs down and share why you didn't like it. Share why you liked it as well. Or even share the video. I know, shameless plug. But if anything, guys, thank you for sticking through this whole video. Like I've always told you guys, to support means so much to me. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, why not leave a subscription? I'll be definitely putting up more videos about games that I'm catching up on, games that I'm interested in. And if you want me to cover something in a later video or in my next video, be sure to comment about it below. I definitely want to see what you guys have to say or what you guys are really looking forward to and whatnot. But if anything, be safe, have fun, and dive into imagination. I'll catch you guys later. Uh-oh, can't watch this video. Don't even think about that one. And holy crap, let me not even touch this one.